Are some people slowly but surely being made to come back? Are people therefore having to come back from the suburbs? What does it mean for when you're looking to rent or indeed buy an apartment? Let's talk about how the low office rates are feeding into the rest of the market and what remote work meant for some of the prices. Let's talk about how the makeup of households is changing at the moment as well. More single people rather than perhaps families living in the city. Bess Freedman can break it all down for us. Brown Harris Stevens, CEO, always on this network when it comes to things like housing. Talk to us, Bess, about what was astounding was how much house prices, basically remote work, dictated the way in which house price moved. We saw, of course, the move to the suburbs, the dash for space. Is it unwinding at all here in the city?
Yeah, I think what you said is accurate. During the pandemic, people started to reassess how they lived, where they lived, their space. And now that people are coming back to work, I think they're settling in, they're adjusting to what's going on in the environment with inflation, with rates going up, as you guys have been covering. I think there's less affordability out there. So New York City has ample supply, but people are trying to assess what they're going to do next. And yes, offices, the vacancy rate is high. There's a lot of B office space, and people are taking their time to come back to work. Not everybody's requiring that people come back into the office. We require that, which is great because I think it's good for culture, but not every company is making people come back in.
But we're also at a point too. Prior to the pandemic, there was so much building of new office space in New York City, much needed to some extent. But of course, the pandemic has sort of changed the calculus of all that. Do you anticipate that those buildings eventually get filled? Or are they going to have to sort of reimagine that space into something else other than cubicles? It's
such a great question, and I would be lying if I told you that I knew. Mm-hmm. I don't know what will be with that. I think we're going to have to wait and see. There's a lot of space, and there's a lot of moving pieces in New York City as a whole. I think, safety is so important. Getting inflation under control is super important. I think all of those things are so prevalent.
When you think about converting office space, Caroline and I were having a conversation yesterday, the difficulties behind that. You can't just put in an extra elevator and make apartments.
You can't do it. It's a challenge. It's fun to talk about, but the reality of actually getting that done is very difficult, and it would take years to actually do it. So I don't think that's a realistic expectation, in my opinion.
When I look at your website and what comes up as, New York City properties, New York City rentals, the Hamptons, New York City,
Connecticut, Palm Beach, Miami, all of that. That's discretionary, high end.
But are people coming back from the Hamptons, or are they choosing, when they've now worked out that their company is actually sticking to a plan to remain remote first, are they buying in places like that to live, to relocate?
Yeah, there's a sort of a co-primary where people have homes in Connecticut and Greenwich, for example, and the Hamptons and New York, and people have come back to New York City. We're seeing that in the numbers. People want to be here, but it's taking time.
And what are the numbers you seeing out of interest?
We're seeing, first of all, the market is on par with 2019 as far as what we're doing now. And so there's a real movement in the market. It's not dead, it's not doom and gloom, but yes, rates have ticked up. So 2 years ago, the 30-year was 2.87%. The average home price was $405,000. Today, it's over 6%, and the average home price is $540,000. So that's real money for people. And so affordability is less, but New York City is a little bit different. We have ample supply. People are still spending. The market is still strong. We're seeing that. But places like Palm Beach, Connecticut, and the Hamptons still are challenged with a lack of supply. And again, I say this all the time, but it's so important. Sellers are going to have to start to capitulate and bring prices down so we can have supply and demand intersect and have more fluidness.
Well, what's the incentive to do that, though, particularly when it comes to commercial real estate? We've all seen the vacant storefronts, and we know there are a lot of tax incentives to just keep that storefront vacant until you get the rent that you want.
That's a good question. I do not know the answer to that. I do know that we are in a wobbly market and in a bit of a reset, and of the last 9 recessions, out of the last 12, 9 out of the last 12, they were preceded by a housing slowdown. So we're seeing that. But again, a lot of people are comparing last year to this year, and you just can't do that. It's like it was a big party last year, and this year the party's over. Everybody's got to get back to life and school and reality, and it's not doom and gloom, but we are in choppy waters. It's a bit of a challenge.
Are people coming to you and saying, I'll hold off because I think in a recession I can get a better deal?
There's some of that, although because we know rates are going to go up again, that's been somewhat of a catalyst for people to start, buying again. So that's why we saw a little spike in the numbers today. I think housing is such an emotional commodity, and people have to make life decisions, and it's the best investment of your life. I always say that. It is the American dream, and people believe in it big time. And they let the market serve them. It's not going to instruct them. It serves them, their purposes, and what's right for them.
Bess Freedman, really appreciate it. Come back and join us
Thanks,
again
guys.
in a couple months. Brown Harris Stevens, CEO. Coming up.